Oh, good, man. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are live. We are live. Welcome back to the Arsenal 101 Gooners End of Week Premier League review show. I'm joined by Neil. How you doing, Neil?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Well, kind of good and not so good. Salah hasn't signed his contract yet, so it looks as if he may not now.
You could just send him to Arsenal, bro. You
Look,
guys have got too many strikers.
we can't send him anywhere. That's his decision, mate.
Bro, look, you just signed another killer up front. You just signed a
Yeah,
killer.
well, we'll
Yeah,
see. We'll see.
Mane, Jota, Origi,
Diaz, yeah, Origi, man.
Firmino, Salah. I mean,
Diaz.
come on,
Don't forget
bro.
Diaz, man.
Let loose.
Listen, we're trying to, man, trying to. Right now, Salah's the one. Salah's the one with the biggest
Bro,
figures, right?
you need to make that call. Klopp is not releasing the man them. Them
Listen,
men can't be happy. You got
listen.
7 strikers. You can't feed. There's too many mouths to feed.
Well, no, if we were in Chelsea's position, then that's too many mouths to feed, yeah? We can still pay to feed them.
No, you didn't go
Yeah?
there that early. Oh, dear.
Sorry, so I'll wait till later on in the show, yeah?
Okay, so we've had one hell of a week in football.
Oh, tell me about it, mate.
Just goes to show how amazing sport can be in terms of the ability to captivate, the ability to literally just change lives. I mean, this week has been some. I've watched some amazing football. I've seen some great, things happening on and off the pitch. And we've got so much to wrap up. I mean, look, just thinking about it, I know we've got Andy coming on later, hopefully. With Spurs having a big game this weekend. I was trying to get Dave. Unfortunately, Dave couldn't make it. But Dave has been chomping at the bit all week for me to.
What's his excuse?
No, he's literally just moved into a new place, so
Okay.
he's. I'm actually just reading some messages from people I'm trying to reach out, see if they'll come in and do it.
Okay, well, yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, we've had like 2 weeks of football, haven't we?
Yeah.
2 weeks of football. So, because we weren't here last week, so are you going to go over those as well, or just from sort of
I think we've got more than our fill this week. Let's see if one of my mercenaries will jump on. I got a football group. Well, some of my old ex-players. So if they do come on,
we got Apollo's still going to join anyway. He's just gone to get a drink, hasn't he?
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on, everybody?
How you doing? Yeah, just saying, Apollo, about preparing for today's show. We've had one of the most tumultuous weeks going. I mean, the amount of stuff that's gone on within the last 7 days. So I guess we're gonna kick it off at the top. By the way, how are you, bro? That's to you.
Yeah, doing good, man. Today, it's I'm back at work now, so I'm doing 2 or so days a week at work, and I'm finding that really draining. Today was the first time I've gone to the gym, and let's not have that conversation, shall we? For someone who has, someone who has only 70% lung capacity, I'm working at 2/3 the capacity that you guys are. So let's just say that it's gonna take me a bit of while to get used to doing stuff like that again.
Can take
so for the viewers, you guys might not know in the chat, but the 3 of us all went to the same school, so we're all the same age. So it's really unusual, isn't it? Yeah, we're friends of like 40 years.
You said the wrong word.
I'll give it away.
Said that, man.
It's funny because someone said to me this week, a young lady I work with, well, she's not so young, but she said to me, oh, young man, you shouldn't be saying such things. I said, well, I'm old enough. And she said, "Oh, you're not really that old. I'm old enough to be your grandmother." And she actually thought she was that senior to me.
Wow,
Yeah.
And
wow,
when I
wow.
asked her how old you were, and she gave me her age, and I went, "Well, I turned that age last year."
Yeah, yeah.
She
I
was
was talking.
really embarrassed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was talking to. I was having lunch with my team today, and there was three members I've never met before. So they were all talking about, oh, we've got kids, and the kids are staying up late at night. And when I told them I had 3.4 children, they were just like they were miffed, and they were like, "You've got 3.4 kids?" Yeah, I said I've got 3 kids and 4 grandchildren, and they could not believe it. My oldest grandson Dante is 13 and he takes size 11 shoes and he's in secondary school, so
Wow,
it made
wow.
them look they all they said was black don't crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had something very similar. I was at an event, so a mate of mine, you know, Frank Aruwa, Cox,
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
right? So he's just completing his Blacks Can't Swim rewind. So
Okay.
he was just doing the last scenes in a hotel, like a birthday dinner sort of thing. And I was there, and I met up with a couple of people that I hadn't seen for a long time, and I also met somebody new as well. And when we were talking, myself and a guy called Adrian Eiffel, he looks younger than me. He's a little bit younger, but he looks a lot younger than me. And when we were telling her that our age, she was 40. And she looked at us and goes, "You guys are lying. You guys are lying." I said, "Look, man." And because she's half Italian as well, and she's mixed, and she's half Italian. She said, "It's true though. It don't crack. It definitely doesn't crack." I said, "What more can we say?"
Madness. Right, guys, I'm just gonna try and put the stream on Twitter while I'm here so that
Cool.
I
Okay.
can try and get
Can you
some.
bring up last week's fixture? Have you got that list by any chance?
Not at the moment, mate. I've been just
Okay,
focusing on
no
Chelsea
worries.
this evening, which is going to be the bulk of what's going on. Let me
What
just
what?
finish off doing
Sorry,
this.
what day are you looking at,
So
Mr.
I'm
Cox?
looking at last Saturday.
So you're looking at
Um,
the 10th, the 5th. Sorry.
Yeah, last week's games weren't really that attractive. There weren't really that many, so we should be able to scoot
Well, we
through
had
them quite quickly.
Leicester, Villa did well. Chelsea destroyed Burnley. Newcastle did well again. Brentford did all right. Crystal Palace did all right, and just about beat West Ham. Liverpool
And you
just about
just
beat West
squeezed
Ham.
past
Yeah,
West Ham.
just
Yeah,
squeezed them apart, yeah.
I mean Leicester. I mean we need to get into Leeds and Everton because they're absolutely in free fall at the moment. Leeds lost last weekend 1-0 to Leicester, which in the grand scheme of things weren't a bad result for them because they've been getting tonked. You know, they've been getting tonked at home as
Remember
well.
what happened yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the 1-0 against Leicester was a pretty good result, especially compared to the result that happened yesterday.
Exactly. So for them, you know, I kind of look at we've been talking about it for the last few weeks about, you know, who's going to jump out of the bottom three, and obviously Newcastle have started getting results. They won 2-1 at home to Brighton last week, so they've moved quite a few points clear now.
Yep. I think they're about 3 or 4 points off the relegation.
The bottom three.
Yeah.
But Leeds, I mean, Leeds and Everton are in free fall. I mean, Newcastle are 10 points off the bottom three now.
Yeah, we go. They've done well. They've done really, really well.
They've done well. Everton have 3 games in hand on most others, but Burnley, chomping at the bit behind them. Burnley are 2 points behind Leeds and have 2 games in hand. So I got a feeling Leeds are going to get swallowed into that.
They're already there as far as I'm concerned. They're already in it. You know, the thing with Burnley, one season their luck will run out, and I'm beginning to think that might be this season.
Okay.
Because even though they've got games in hand, they're just not getting the results, really, are they?
Yeah, that's right.
Not getting the results, and normally this time of the season, they would have escaped the bottom 3.
Yeah.
And they'd slowly start creeping up, but right now they haven't done that. So for me, because they haven't got because they haven't actually got the points when you're looking at the games in hand, to me that means nothing.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have those 3 points per game than
Absolutely.
we've got 3 games in hand, because those points aren't decided. Yeah, that could be 0, it could be 1, it could be 3. We won't know until they actually play them. And if they play like the way they played against Chelsea, they're not surviving it this season. They're
Yeah.
not surviving it this season. But we'll have to see. Still a few games to go.
Yeah. So yeah, the results from last weekend. I mean, as I said, there weren't any really big, outstanding, sort of top of the table big clashes. Arsenal went away on Sunday, expected to beat Watford. We kind of seemed to have the game wrapped up at 3-1 before a late second goal by Watford. Made it a little bit iffy towards the end, but they saw it through. The big game, the one and only big game, was Man City against Man United. Shame we haven't got what's his name?
Is it Drew?
No, Drew's the Man City. Well, yeah,
Darren.
shame we haven't got Drew in the
And
house.
Darren. Is it Darren?
And Darren, yeah.
Yeah, I was with Darren today for lunch, and as you guys know, he's just had a little baby, and he's just not getting a lot of sleep at the moment. So so the timing, he will be back at some point. He just needs to catch his breath at the moment.
That's an excuse, yeah.
He just needs to catch his breath at the moment. Before we carry on, let me say hello to everybody. 18, what's going on? He says, what's going on, Neil and Tony? Man never says hello to me when we come on here. I should block you on here, bro. I should block you. What's going on, Kurt? Me and Tony met up with Kurt at the Emirates Stadium. Does a lot of work for the community. So big shout out to you, Kurt. Andrew, what's going on, Andrew? Greetings to you,
what's
my friend.
Going on, Bajan boy?
G seen this seems to just be a political racism against Roman and a chance to create a big story. Stealing football club will not make any difference. Those getting attacked in Ukraine, there's neither is there any link. Why do something that actually make a difference? They have to do it, bro. We're going to talk about it later on anyway and go into more detail.
There is a link. There's a big link between Roman and Putin. There's a big link.
Andrew says, was the school building burned down when you lot was there? No, they actually closed the school, so we can't even go there and have any memories. So it's a real shame. And it says, I was about to ask, which child is the 4?
Point 4. The point 4.
Oh, the point 4. Dante's 13, Rukia's 11, Kiyomi is 5, and Raiku is 4. So those are my grandchildren.
Yeah.
Kurt says, heard Vardy. Yeah, Vardy's out, man. So I'm all over it. I actually shot a preview today, and I've been so busy, never had a chance to edit it. So I will put that up on the channel at some point. Manchester derby is not a big clash any longer. No, it isn't.
Wow.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Dan did not have
it's still a big clash in terms of in terms of looking at the two teams positioning at the start of the weekend. If Man City hadn't got the win, that would have just literally let the door in for Liverpool, and Man United are still in the European hunt. So it's interesting that we wouldn't look at it as a big game, as in terms of the two fighting against one another positionally, but in their individual battles, that was actually a big game.
Yeah, the surprising win for me out of this, there's not a lot to talk about what's going on here. The surprising one for me is Newcastle. The resurgence of Newcastle is absolutely shocking to me. I mean, right now, the position of Newcastle is they are 10 points above the relegation zone. 10.
Yeah.
10.
And right now, players, Bruno Guimaraes just got his first goal over the weekend as well, which is a nice little back heel. Fraser's playing well. They're all playing well. Joe Willock is a big player in the setup play. But right now, if you're a player who plays, let's just say, Rudiger for Chelsea or any of those guys who wants to jump onto a new project, it's definitely going to be Newcastle, because if these guys are playing like this now, could you imagine this summer they're going to spend some cash? There's no doubt about it. And there's a lot of players available on a free transfer. Mbappe, Pogba, Lacazette, all of these players are on the market for free. I mean, that's just a snippet. There are a plethora of players. And I remember Wenger 10 years ago saying to everybody that all these fans are saying and moaning about clubs about letting players go for free. Wenger said it's going to be the new normal, and he was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I want to mention about that, Apollo, is, how much credit do you have to give Eddie Howe? Because I, for one, have to hold my hand up and say, I didn't think he was capable of getting that team, even with the possibility of, spending 100 million in the January transfer window, out of the relegation zone. I thought that team was in such decline, and I couldn't see adding players. I thought it would take 3 months, 4 months, but literally they had started in December, started getting a few close games, and then all of a sudden they're building momentum, and you can see that they're winning games.
I mean, for me, how he did well when he was at Bournemouth before they got relegated. I look at how I'm still totally convinced he's good enough to keep a team in the Premiership, and Newcastle he can definitely keep the team in there. I'm not sure if, from Newcastle's point of view, if he's the man to take them forward. I think within a season or so they'll get rid of him to get a more credible name, because not only are they looking for a credible name, they need to bring these big names in. And I can't see how dragging these people in. They don't know who. A lot of them outside the Prem and the Coca-Cola Championship. A lot of these guys abroad probably don't even know who he is. Yeah, so we haven't got that reputation of winning the big cups, the big competitions, that sort of stuff. So I just think that with Newcastle, they've just got him as a fill-in until they find the right manager to start bringing those names in. Because when you look at Newcastle's history, their history over the last 7 years or so, it's not all that. It's a couple of dicing with the Coca-Cola Championship, but nothing else other than that. Yeah. So to build that team and to make them go forward, they need a more credible manager to start bringing these names in, and they also need to start doing a lot better in the domestic competitions for a start. Once they start doing that, then they'll have the bigger names pricking their ears up and going, "Ooh, Newcastle, that looks like a bit of a decent prospect." At the moment, they're still making a name for themselves now with the money that they've got and some of the players. When you look at the players that they brought in, to me, they're not big time players. They're good enough to keep the team there,
but they're players.
Yeah.
I mean, over the weekend, Chris Woods just got his first goal for them. Romara's got his first goal, and he got a call up to the Brazilian squad because of it.
Yeah, but Chris Woods is coming from Burnley, man.
Oh yeah, but he scores goals. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a goal
he'll get you 10 goals a season. That's all you need. Yeah. And remember, if you're, he'll get you.
I've just done a look at their fixtures. They haven't lost a Premier League game since they lost to Leicester on the 12th.
He won Manager of the Month. He beat Arteta.
12th of December, their last loss in the Premier League.
Yeah, he beat Arteta for Manager of the Month, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So it's just if I didn't see it, a lot of us didn't see it, but it's there in plain sight. They're coming, man. Bobby says Everton are going down. You might be right. Yeah, that Lampard thing. I don't rate him as a manager, and I've been saying that from Chelsea.
Well, being a Liverpool fan,
the only time I've ever liked Everton was when Kevin Campbell was there. But other than that, I've never been a great fan of Everton.
I've got a prediction, guys. Remember, you heard it here first. I think Rudiger, and I know football agents anyway, so it's not like it might be like I'm cheating or something like that. But he may or may not have been in discussions with Newcastle right now about where he's going in the summer. But I predict that Rudiger's from Chelsea is going to be a Newcastle United player next season. Remember where you heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get on to the Newcastle, but let's finish off this week's fixtures. I mean, obviously, we go from the weekend's game to the Monday night football. We just talked about the decay of Everton, and they capitulated against Tottenham on Monday night. All of a sudden, Spurs go from, in a space of like a couple of games, in a negative goal difference to a very healthy looking goal difference. and looking kind of dangerous. You know, we're only like 2 weeks away from when we were looking at Conte talking like as if he was about to walk out the door, couldn't get this team to play a tune. And now all of a sudden, he seems to have them playing. So what's your thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I mean, I think Conte, he's always been a good manager to me, and I always thought, you know, that he's going to do well at Spurs anyway, even though, yes, there's a couple of results that's very questionable. But to be honest, when you're playing against Everton, I mean, Everton, they've just lost the plot. I have a feeling that the next manager to go could be Lampard. You know, if he can't stop that, if he can't stop that free fall, they might get desperate like Watford did a couple of seasons ago when they had about 3 or 4, no, was it about 5 different managers? Yeah, just to try and stop the rot. Yeah. And I can see that if Everton keep losing games and they join that relegation battle, Lampard might be a name that you might see disappear from there. Because to be honest, he hasn't got a lot of experience. He was at Derby, and then from Derby he went to Chelsea. Chelsea didn't think he was good enough, and they got rid of him.
He's had about the same amount of experience as Steven Gerrard. And Steven Gerrard went into Villa and completely turned that team around. Yeah, and I was on this show right here in front of you guys saying that he wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, but Gerrard was at Rangers for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, Lampard was at Chelsea.
Yeah,
it's a bigger club than Rangers.
No, it is a bigger club than Rangers, but it's not the top club like Rangers was the top club when he was there.
Yeah, it's a hard one to Chelsea, man. Champions League winners.
Yeah, exactly. When you look at the Scottish Prem, you've only got 2 teams, which is Celtic and Rangers, right?
Yeah.
He's managing one of the top teams. Remember, that team was mostly there before he got there in the first place. Yeah, and he kept them winning. So, you know, I mean, his history is more recent than Lampard's, because he went from Rangers straight to Villa. But I mean, I don't know. For me, I think that Lampard hasn't had enough experience at the top end of winning a lot of stuff. He struggled at Chelsea, and he's struggling at Everton. You know,
right now for me, as I said, Aston Villa was in a tailspin. They were 17th in the league. They were about in the same place as Everton are now. And Gerrard went in there and completely changed the fortunes around. And to a point, Dean Smith has done okay at Norwich. Norwich was on pace to have the worst points in Premier League history. And he's improved them, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough, just down to the sheer talent level. But I digress. Lampard hasn't got it done at Everton. He's arguably got a set of players that were challenging for top 6.
Yeah,
they were last year, and they were in early stages of this season. And
I listened.
Go on, Tony.
I said I was going to say I listened to Jamie Carragher's scathing comments about the Everton defense, and I got to agree with him. Their defending is schoolboy. They literally are like headless chickens.
Yeah, I mean, they were aging, and they should have replaced them a long time ago, and they didn't. A lot of situations. I mean, could you imagine an Arsenal defense with Socrates, a 35-year-old David Luiz, Mustafi? Do I need to go on? Bellerin?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that was bad enough when they were in their prime.
and these guys let in 51 goals for 2 seasons on the trot. Along comes Arteta. They let in 36, which is the 3rd best defense last season, and they're currently sitting as the 5th best defense this season. But that's where your coaching really stands out. And Lampard has made 0 impact on Everton's defense. 0.
Yeah. And what's even more interesting to me is Jordan Pickford looks like a mistake every time he gets the ball.
He does, but that just means that Ramsdale's going to take that England. So I think we all know it's inevitable.
It should do.
I think in the World Cup, he'll be England's #1 goalkeeper.
Yeah, so it should be. I doubt it will happen myself. I kind of feel that Pickford's got a lock-in on that position. But, you know, based on what he's playing like at the moment...
I'm not sure about that. But
I think it's gone, Tony.
If you look at the way Southgate picks his players. He picks them on form. Yeah, with
You
Pickford
say that?
at Everton, Pickford
Never.
at Everton with them leaking in goals. He's not going to take that risk. He'd rather take someone else who's on better form. That's how I see.
I
And
mean, you
that's what
say that.
Southgate does.
I always complain he never dropped Harry Kane when Harry Kane wasn't scoring
Yeah,
goals.
but that's Harry Kane, isn't it? That's a different
But
story. Like, you know,
is
Sterling
is
was
it
man of the
different?
match in their first win, and guess whose face was on the front of every newspaper?
Exactly.
Harry Kane is a special case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No matter what Kane does, he's going to come out smelling of roses, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my
Okay.
game this weekend is, you know, I know we haven't really got onto picks yet, but my game this weekend is Newcastle Chelsea. That's
a big
going to
game.
be me. That's the game right there, man.
It is, yeah.
I think they'll win.
So let's go into midweek quickly, because I know we don't do a great deal of Champions League, but there were some outstanding games this week in the Champions League, and I just, if you didn't watch it, you missed a classic in PSG against Real Madrid. But
Yeah,
before I get to that one, let's talk very quickly. Liverpool scraped over the line with the 7 strikers.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I'm not. No comment from me. I'm waiting for Neil. Neil can take that one all the way to the bank.
Right, I'm going to try and make this short, very, very short. I think that the attitude our players went in, they took the game too easy. They kind of thought that they were already through after the first game. Because if you notice, even when we went 1-0 behind, there wasn't any desperation to kind of get back on level terms. And the longer the game went on, the more we was just passing the ball left to right, left to right, left to right, sort of thing. And for me, that kind of did my head in a bit, because I want to see them win. Yeah. Whoever they're playing, I want to see them win. I don't want them to think, oh, we're still going to get in it, even though we're losing. Let's just take it easy and take our foot off the pedal. That's what they do. And that will be their downfall if they start taking teams like that very lightly. At the moment, they're still challenging for top spot in Prem. But they have to play every game like it's like, you know, they need the points more.
Yeah. Let's hope they have that kind of game on Wednesday night against us.
I hope not.
We've got a question for you, Neil. G asks, question for Neil. Klopp is leaving at the end of 2024. What's your thought? Yeah, for you guys who didn't get the news, and not a lot of people did, because there's been such, about Chelsea sanctions, it's completely taken over everything. Boris Johnson must be happy that all of that has diverted away from the Tories' calamities of late. But so for all of you guys who didn't know, Klopp announced that he's leaving Liverpool at the end of 2024. Yeah. What's your thoughts? Is this something? He's still young. To me, it seems like he's going back to Germany.
Well, for me, the way I look at it, Klopp's he's done almost everything under Liverpool apart from the FA Cup. Yeah, I think that's the last thing he's going to try. Obviously, going to still try and win the Prem while he's there, but if you look at it, until this year is the first time we've won a domestic cup, and it's 5 years of him being there before we won a domestic trophy. Yeah, he's got one. He's got one more to do, and I think that's all he's aiming to do now, is make sure he can leave the UK and the Prem by saying, "I won every cup available, domestic as well as Europe as well as World Club." Yeah.
So is he saying that he can't take you any further? Is that what he's saying?
No,
he's done as much as he can do.
I don't think he's saying that he can't take us any further. You got to look at a lot of managers. It's very easy for a manager to stay at a club for many, many years if he does well. It just shows that his ambition just stops at that club. I just think that I'm not sure where he's going to go, but I think that he's starting to think about a new challenge.
Yeah, I mean, from what I talked to James B today, one of the football writers. And he's saying that at the moment, it looks like he'll take a sabbatical. He says he's worn out, and he just needs a break. And a lot of managers feel that, but can't do it.
But have you noticed that a lot of managers that say that, it's normally managers that been in the Prem? You don't really hear many managers in any of the...
Max Allegri did it, and Allegri did it, didn't he? And so did Thomas Tuchel. Not for long, though. His one wasn't for long. Some of yeah, I get what you're. I think it's more for the Premiership. I
think
agree.
The Prem's more draining than the other leagues.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what you've also got to look at as well is that if you look at like the Liga, for example, if the press don't like you, that's it. You're finished. You're finished.
Yeah.
And if you look at over here, the press normally likes you as long as you talk to them properly. Yeah, that's why Mourinho had problems with the press. Yeah, because he was constantly not giving them what they wanted to hear, or he was criticizing them or criticizing the players, and they jumped all over that. But then when he went to Spain, he got bad treatment there as well.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, the media made Jose Mourinho. They made him and they broke him.
Yeah.
They literally, when he came, he was the guy. He was the media darling, and then they broke him.
The special one, man. The special one.
Kuke's saying, what was the reason? The reason in his conference last week, I can't believe a lot of people ain't even talking about it. He's just saying that physically and mentally, he just won't have the energy levels for it. That's why I'm talking about a sabbatical. I'm saying, it's not like this guy says when his contract runs out, he's been there 6.5 years. He's revolutionized Liverpool and he's added, what a lot of managers have into the Premier League. But Bertram's actually saying no, Jose. Yeah, there's probably a little bit of both. He had success, yes, but I think Tommy's talking about the media.
Yeah, when he comes to England, the media just go berserk because let's be honest, he was a successful guy before he came to England, and he wasn't in the press. But when he came up to Chelsea, the press suddenly went into overdrive, and he became bigger than football.
He was bigger than the club.
In terms of Klopp, though, I find it very interesting the timing because I look at the positioning of the big six in Europe, and it's very interesting right now. This week has opened my eyes to what the future of European football could have looked like, and Stan Kroenke will be rubbing his hands and thinking, wow. Remember, think about what was being talked about with the breakaway Super League.
Yeah, and that's not dead, by the way. That's not dead.
Yeah.
But I have to say to you guys, sorry, go on, Tony, finish up.
So, I mean, I look at the games this week and I'm like, wow, some of the games are so entertaining.
Yeah.
So, the pull for me to watch the Champions League was massive. Inter are playing Man United next week. Chelsea got a game, and you're kind of forming an opinion now of like who's going to be the last 8, and you're like, wow, this last 8 is going to be crazy.
So I just want to say something to you that I said to Darren today when I was with Darren and we was having lunch. And if you're watching, Darren, big shout out to you. I know you're tired and baby is keeping you up all night. I did say at the end of the 2024 season when Klopp's contract runs out, there's one thing that you guys have to remember, and we've all talked about their front three, the best front three in the Premier League, in my opinion, from an attacking standpoint. In the next 2 years, this is what you need to understand. Firmino's going to be 33. Van Dijk's going to be 33. Salah's going to be 32. Mane's going to be 32. Don't worry about Alisson. He's a goalkeeper, so he ain't really going to make much difference. My point is, Matic as well going to be 33, although he's a defender. My point is that those players are going to be on a downward spiral. And as Lacazette fans, we all know how that feels. Yeah? But I think in order to sign another contract for Klopp, you're going to need a plan to rebuild and replace those players. Jota's a good move. That's on the right path. But you're gonna need a whole complete.
Diaz,
at the moment you've got to look at. Yeah, I mean you've got to look at the way he looks like
a worldie, bro.
Yeah, definitely. But you got to look at Liverpool's. You've got to look at their philosophy. They're not the club to go out and spend millions and millions and millions and bring in all the big names. They bring names that are good, not necessarily the greatest, but they try to turn them into the greatest.
Yeah.
And that's what they do under Klopp. So, like, to answer Greg's thought about my thoughts, it's going to be very difficult because Klopp has a certain way of bringing players in or turning the current players into much better players. When he goes, if he hasn't got somebody that's kind of learnt from him to take over, we're going to kind of struggle. We need to get a worldy manager. Yeah, someone who can do that.
You go through the Arsenal scenario when we lost Wenger.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's going to happen. So, I mean, for me, when Klopp goes, he goes. I will be upset, but then at the same time, he deserves it. Yeah, he's coming and he's done a lot. He's done more. Right now, a lot of Liverpool fans are sort of mentioning him along the names of Paisley and Shankly of how he's come in and revolutionised the squad, the current squad, and he's done that in that same sort of league. So he's even when he leaves, we'll still be talking about him for many years.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's the reason why. And that's the reason why a lot of Arsenal fans, and actually not Arsenal fans, but fans around the league from other teams are starting to talk about Arteta. Because the first stage of that, the first stage is not your results, it's your transfer policy. It's how much money are you committing and what are the type of players that you're buying. And I think we can see that, these players, remember, this is the youngest team in the league in Arsenal, and I don't want to divert the conversation, but my point is that that's what Klopp had to do. When you look at the Van Dijks and all these other players and the Trent Alexander and the Robertsons and the front three that we just talked about, when you look at all of that, he implemented the right players in the system and the philosophy, and it all came together, and that's why it worked. And in order to do that, you're going to have to reinvent yourself. And I think that's part of why he's not going to be signing a new contract, because that takes a lot.
Yeah, what you got to see what Klopp's done. He's found the right pieces to the jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, so he's not gone out and bought loads and loads of pieces. They've just kind of said, okay, we've got to be select, because obviously they're not getting loads and loads of money from Fenway anyway. Yeah. So what he's done is he's created this team. He's changed how the players play. I mean, before he came there under Rodgers, we were playing the long ball all the time. We weren't playing from the back. A lot of these players couldn't string 3 or 4 passes together.
Yeah, welcome to the Emirates, man.
Yeah, Klopp came in and it took him a couple of seasons, but he's got us doing that now. Got us playing from the back. He's even got Henderson, who couldn't string a couple of passes together. He's got him playing a lot better as well.
So that's the reason why Tony talked about Eddie Howe at Newcastle, because right now, what this is, in my opinion, this is the Man City with Robinho, Santa Cruz, Adebayor, Gael Clichy. This is the Mancini and Claudio Ranieri, not Claudio Ranieri. This is the Mancini Man City, where they've just got all this money. They're just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. There's no real plan. There's no real, you're not going to win the league with these guys at Newcastle or this manager. Yeah, so they kind of remind me of that Man City in that phase. And I think the teething problems that Klopp has seen, Klopp has just pinpointed, this is where I have to be in the next 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. And I think he's just like, he's already said it. He doesn't have the energy levels for it, physically or mentally. So I respect that. Bertram says, football encapsulates one life. Some managers just want some normalcy. Apollo, it has nothing to do with rebuild. I think it has everything, which I just explained. I think it has everything to do. He's looking at the roadmap for the next 5 years, Bertram. And I just think he's looking at it thinking it's going to take too much out of him. You're saying they are well suited. Let's see in the next 2 years when these players become in their early 30s. Let's revisit this conversation, Bertram, and see where we are. You might be right. I might be right. We don't know. But I think Klopp has looked at it and thought, you know what, I'm going to hand the keys to somebody else and see if they can have a go, because I've done it. I've done 7 years there. I built a revolution, and it worked. And thank you, Liverpool, for giving me the chance. And I think that he's been respectable in that respect.
He did well at Dortmund as well when he was at Dortmund. So
I said to you guys all the time, I said he won 2 titles from a Bayern Munich team in their prime.
Exactly.
He did that.
Yeah.
In their prime, a Bayern Munich team in their prime.
Exactly. He's not the type of player, manager to be to show off or be boastful about it. He just went in, did his job, they won stuff, and then he moved on. And that's what he's going to do with Liverpool as well. He'll take time out, but he'll go back into management. But we'll have to see where he ends up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's move on, guys. Wednesday night, on a Tuesday night, we saw Bayern Munich smash Salzburg for 7-1 in the other game in the Champions League. A chilling warning to the rest of the teams in the competition. A warning that this team, I ain't kidding you. I've yet to see I've seen some great football this season, but what Bayern Munich did to Salzburg on Tuesday night, that was phenomenal, bro.
Guys, listen, I talked to you guys about that best Bayern Munich team. I've got to go through some of the names, man. Thomas Kraft, Van Buyten, they had Philip Lahm, they had Frank Ribery, they had Robin, Gustavo, they had Tony Cruz, they had Klose, they had Muller, they had Mario Gomez. That team, in my opinion, even though they went hammer and tongs with the Galacticos and Barcelona, but for me, I always said that was a more talented team in Europe, and Klopp beat them twice. Oh God! Bertram said Guardiola will leave when he wins the Champions League. I agree, 100%, Bertram.
It's not. He'll
be gone, mate.
I think he's got his work cut out, man. I
don't think they'll win the Champions. I don't think they'll ever win the Champions League.
I look at the teams left in the competition now, and I just think, wow.
You've got to look at the draw. You've got to look at the next draw, and that will determine whether they win it or not, basically, because the big teams are going to be playing one another. It's just when. Yeah.
Tony, I'm going to give this one to you. Lewandowski or Kane?
This is easy.
Day long.
This is easy. This is light work. This is light work, bro.
Yeah,
Kane
this
is a
child's
phenomenal player. He's going to be a legend, but 40 goals for the last 3 seasons.
I know.
It's
not even close. Yeah, it's not even close.
40 goals.
It's not even close.
We're up there with Messi and Ronaldo in their prime.
Yeah.
The guy's phenomenal.
The most underrated player in world football.
That's because he doesn't know the right people. He doesn't. He doesn't. Come on, man. From when Messi and Ronaldo are still beating him, yeah.
All right. Let me just explain something. Let me just say one thing.
Come on, man. That's fixed.
This guy's played 244 games for Bayern Munich. 244.
Right.
And scored 231 goals.
Right. And you're telling me with those statistics, he doesn't deserve the Golden Boot.
It's crazy.
You're telling me that
the fix is in, bro.
It's who you know. It's not what you do. It's not what you do. It's who you know. It's who you know. Right? Because who was it? It was Messi. Messi won it last. Was it Messi that won it last?
Yeah.
How? Why?
Yeah.
When?
I totally
what
agree
did
with
he do?
Yeah,
this guy nearly averages a goal every game, man.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, it's the name Messi and it's the name Ronaldo, right? As long as those names are still in football, playing near the top, they will still win it. Yeah,
watch me, Tony. I'm getting my calculator right now because this is some bullshit right here.
Listen.
If
Messi got injured for half the season, right? His name will still be in the top 5 for the Golden Boot. Easy.
Yeah.
So he has a 94.7% chance of scoring every game he plays.
Yeah, but Apollo, that's not good enough. That's not good enough for the Golden Boot. It's not. It's not good enough, though, is it? It's clearly not good enough, right?
Oh my God!
Crazy.
It's not good enough, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what that Golden Boot. It's crap. It's bull.
I hear you. I hear you, Bertram. But I'm not. I'm. Listen. That if Bayern should get Man City in the next round, fireworks, bro, fireworks. Don't forget, Spurs just beat Man City at Man City, and if you're gonna compare Spurs with Bayern Munich, come again, bro, come again. Listen, as I said, watch out. That team, and you know, Salzburg again ain't no pushovers. Yeah, I know you might say they bullied them, but they ain't no pushovers. Anyway,
Bertrand says to Tony,
let's move on.
No, Bertrand's saying to you, Tony, them not playing nobody, bullies who know.
That's what I'm responding to. That's what I'm responding to. Anyway, let's move on.
Move on. Kurt's saying hearing whispers about Sergio. They've had a conversation with his agent, as far as I know, but there's from what I know, the situation at the moment is that Arsenal have to show him the reason why he needs to come back. He's definitely interested, but it's by far a done deal. I think they need to, which actually goes without saying, everybody Arteta's talked to is pretty much signed on the dotted line. They like where they're going. Look, let's get top 4, something I never believed that we would ever do. And then those conversations will start to become a reality because you're shopping in a different market to everybody else at the moment. And when you're in the Champions League, you can then have those conversations with the top players in the world because you've actually got something to offer them. That 42 million influx of cash would be brilliant because I've always had this discussion with all the guys here on 101. And the discussion was, shall we use up all of our collateral in cash, get a good team, and then make the Champions League, or just build organically and watch our money? And they've decided to use the money, to front load the money. That way, if they make the Champions League, that 150 million we spent last year was worth it, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea need the winnings from the Champions League just to pay wages, mate. For now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll go into that. Anyway, Wednesday night saw Man City go through because they were 5-0 up in the first leg, and I just took their foot off the pedal and breezed into the next round. As I said, them against anybody like Liverpool, Bayern Munich would be phenomenal. But the game of the week, what a game! Don't know if either of you seen it, but Real Madrid 1-0 down from the first leg, then 1-0 down in their home stadium after 39 minutes. Go into the second half of the game, 2-0 down, and pull out an unbelievable comeback. And the questions just came out the next day. It was like, wow. I mean, I went back into work the next day going, did you see that? I mean, all the fans of football who didn't watch that game need to go, even just to watch the highlights again. You'd just be amazed.
Yeah, I just watched the goals.
There's an offside goal by Mbappe that reminds me of Pelé, where he runs past the ball and he fools the goalkeeper completely, and then he kicks it past and he misses the goal. But I mean, Mbappe's just, imagine this. You're flaunting with your potential employer for next year, and you smash 2 goals in against them.
No, but that's good. That's good though.
He could have had a hat trick at half time.
Yeah,
but
VAR. That's good. That's good though because he's shown them. Look, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah. But
that's
wow. The next point is Karim Benzema scores a hat trick in the second half. Phenomenal. The guy at his age, you kind of go, well, Ronaldo is slowing down, definitely. Messi is not Messi anymore. But this guy at Real Madrid, is he getting older or is he getting better? Because his finishing was phenomenal. And then the next question I had to pull out was Mauricio Pochettino, for all he's got, for all the talent at PSG, they ain't never going to win this Champions League.
Yeah, but it's not about, for them, it's not about talent, it's about egos, right? Because they've all got egos. The top players have egos. You can see that.
I just feel like we need to have a conversation about that team and what's going to happen in terms of the fallout from this season, because they've got a plethora of great players. I mean, we nearly picked up Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum can't get a game.
Yep.
Yeah?
Still
I've
can.
got no doubt. Yeah. If he decides to take a move in the summer, somebody gets a great player. And
LFC.
there's lots more of them. they have a plethora of players. They have a squad depth that belies belief.
Yeah, but
They
you need the right manager. You need the right manager to pull them all together, because you looking at the way they play, especially when you watch PSG in the Liga. Yeah, not Liga, in what's their league called again? I can't remember what their league is called now. But when they but League One, sorry, League One.
League
League League sorry.
Forget that.
Right. Yeah, but what I'm saying is when
Bertram's gonna come in any minute now. I can see Bertram
but when you
typing
see,
it away. Farmers
but
League.
when you see some of the games,
Farmers League. I'll say it for you, Bertram. Farmers League. I know.
yeah, but all right. Whatever you call that league, right? That's supposed to be one of the top teams in the world. And when you see how they struggle sometimes to score goals in that league against that type of competition, it beggars belief. I can't see them winning the Champions League until they start showing that, a much better quality. They've got the top players, but they're not putting it together. There's no point, there's no point having all the top players if they're not playing well together, if they can't agree, the egos are coming out, because you're not going to get the results. Right. And when you do lose, people can go, well, it's because of their egos. It's because, you know what I mean? Because when you think about a team with Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar, right? Those
Verratti,
three alone, exactly.
Donnarumma,
But those three alone, you're kind of saying,
Hakimi.
Exactly. You're going, why are these guys struggling at times? Yeah.
Pembe. They've just got a plethora of players to choose from.
That's what I'm saying. But
it's
the thing is,
ridiculous.
they have the players, but the players aren't producing in the way you expect them to produce to get the results. Yeah. Realistically, they should be going in the Champions League in the group stages, right, and be thrashing all those teams within that group. Yeah, and yet they don't. They struggle. Sometimes if you see them win 2-0, that's a struggle for them to score those 2 goals, considering the names that they've got and the quality of players that they've got. They should be smashing 3-4 goals at least per game in most of the games they play, but they don't. They struggle. Poch isn't the man he's not the man to take that team forward. They need someone stronger who can just knock all their heads together and go, look, it's either my way or you guys are going to be sitting on the bench. At the moment, no one's going to go to Messi and say, well, you're going to sit on the bench. We're not going to play you if you don't do what we say. Messi's going to go, you, and then leave again, right? And whoever has Messi doesn't want Messi to leave. Yeah?
So, Apollo, have you got any thoughts on that PSG situation?
No, I just, somebody just said it well here. Bertram just said they're not a team, they're not what we call a side. G said, oh no, he's talking about false nines. I don't know. No, I don't. Who's that? That's Bertram. Bertram was replying to G. G says it was a disaster of epic proportions and it's nothing new. It's nothing new. I'm used to it. Bertram just said false nines is talking about winning titles. Kane for a reason. Yeah, I was just talking about. Yeah, they're bottlers. They're the living bottlers, and you're giving Messi 600 grand a week to come in there. He couldn't score. He barely scored a goal in his first 10 appearances. It just to me seems.
I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't say Messi is the problem.
I wouldn't. But what happens is, if that was us giving all our money away.
Yeah.
Look. I'm talking like a Washington fan, right? In the NFL, we give high contracts away to everybody. We get the aging players. We brought in the Bruce Smiths, the Deion Sanders, all these over-the-hill guys who were breaking our bank, and they weren't permitting anything. It was like, you know what it is, Neil? It was like a player's graveyard. That's what we like to call them.
Yeah.
You get all these has-been over-the-hill players, and you pay them all the money in the world, and all it does is it capitulates your bank balance. That's what PSG are doing.
Yeah.
So, what we're seeing now is just a result of their lack of understanding and care in nature to look after their brand.
I tell you how I see PSG. I see PSG as a failed Galactico type team.
Yeah.
Because when the Galacticos were about, they had the big names and they were getting the results. Yeah. PSG has copied that, but for some reason they've got the names, but they're not producing how they should be producing. So they failed at that type of Galactico type environment.
Yeah. And they look at money in a different way than me and you,
Exactly.
right? Like Man United, when Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Man United, all of us were talking about the ethics of that deal.
Yeah.
Man United fans were talking about how they made their money back for the year's salary purchase on players' sales within 48 hours. We were talking about, what system are they gonna play, what role is Bruno Fernandes gonna, all these different things. All they were talking about was the money that they earned from that, because and PSG is exactly the same way. They made their money back from the Messi deal in a week. A little bit longer than Cristiano Ronaldo, but they still made their money back for the whole year that they're keeping him in a week. So they look at that as success. But no, success is measured on the pitch.
Exactly. Yeah, but football.
So we'll
a business now, and it's been a business for a long time, unfortunately, and that's what's dictating who goes where and how much they're paid.
I mean, I mentioned this at work today. Actually, someone was talking to me about when did football lose its luster as a working man sport, and
when the Premier League started,
and that's exactly what I said.
Yeah,
you got it bang on right.
Robbie Keane, the Prawn Sandwich Club,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So listen, this PSG story and the fallout, I think we're gonna have to bring some of the other guys in on that conversation next week, hopefully. But let's move on to some of the results from midweek. Have you got the midweek results there, Apollo?
Oh God, I thought I'd given you
4 games on Thursday night.
Hold on a sec.
Let me go back to that. Here we go. I thought I'd already given
Thursday.
you.
Yeah, Thursday we had the Norwich, Chelsea, Southampton, Newcastle, Wolves, Watford, and Leeds, Aston Villa games.
Right. Okay. Let's just which games did we have?
So we had Chelsea and Norwich.
Chelsea.
Yeah, there we go. If you can't see that, Southampton, Newcastle, Wolves, Watford, and Leeds versus Aston Villa.
Okay, why isn't it coming?
Have you got the Premier League app on your phone or on your laptop?
No, I use a different page to get the figures up.
Okay.
Well, anyway, let's get into it. Chelsea won away at Norwich.
3-1.
Not really unexpected there. Newcastle won again away to Southampton, which is not an easy place to win.
No.
So again, huge credit to Eddie Howe and his players for getting a great result. I think they were 1-0 down as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were
1-0 down and came back to win 2-1.
Wooden Gamaris, is that how you say his name? His goal was brilliant, boy. His goal was.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, when I was listening to the commentary, the commentator couldn't pronounce his name for shiz. When he said his name, I was like, what did he just say?
Is that a new play that's just coming again?
I don't know what that was all about, bro.
Yeah. Then we had Wolves thrash Watford 4-0. Again, nothing really unexpected there. Wolves, obviously are still in the hunt for a European spot.
Yeah.
And they are a difficult team to beat. We've been to battle with them twice in the last month, and luckily we've won both. But I still can see them causing some upsets before the end of this season. And they're rubbing shoulders in the right place at the moment. And then Aston Villa went to Leeds and thrashed them 3-0. So once again, Leeds conceding average of 3 goals a game.
Yeah, well, when you look at it, Norwich, Watford, and Leeds, could they be the 3 that go down? Because all of them are still in free fall at the moment.
Yeah. At the moment, at the bottom, you don't know who's going to go down, and at the top, you don't know who's going to make top 4. So this is a really exciting season on both ends. You can't call it.
Sure.
And there's such a long time to there's still 12, 13 games left to play, and so much can change in that time.
The teams at the bottom have to win at least the next 6 or 7 games to try to be safe. And I can't see that happening for some of those teams.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. Norwich gave Chelsea trouble in the second half and looked like equalising. Yeah, wait till Newcastle come to Stamford Bridge. It's a shame
Yeah.
their fans are not going to be able to get in there, but yeah, I'm really looking. That's game of the week for me,
Season
man.
ticket holders will be there, but
Yeah. But
I don't.
away
I,
fans
I
won't be able
didn't. I
to.
didn't quite understand why Newcastle fans weren't, because the point at which the announcement was made about ticket sales, surely the tickets would already have been sold.
Right. Okay, so
Because-
let me clear that one up. Let me clear that one up, right? So what it is, the fans that will be there are fans who have already bought a ticket before the government's announcement. So Newcastle would have been allocated X amount of tickets, and they would have sold those tickets. So up until those tickets were sold, those fans should be at Stamford Bridge if they can make it up, right? But any new tickets after the government's when they said no new tickets, which is why the season ticket holders will still be able to go to those games because they
which is 28,000. Yeah. Which is 28,000 out of the 41,000 capacity.
And to be honest, the ground will probably be sold out because the tickets for that game would have been sold last month.
They would be, but they still work on a tier like Arsenal. So Arsenal have a silver membership, then
the announcement happened this week. That game sold out last month.
Yeah.
So we expect to see a full house. There should be no lag on this one because the game after maybe, but not this one. This game was sold out weeks ago.
Next week and the week after you'll see. You'll just see season ticket holders and people who have already purchased tickets. But then when you're talking about games that are maybe 3 games on from now, you're probably not going to have any away fans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're probably not going to have any away fans. So
which is bad for Arsenal as well. So guys, you ready to discuss Chelsea? Okay,
I don't know.
So let me just bullet point off the points and then we can go into the discussion. So what we know already, guys, Chelsea's owner Roman Abramovich saw his assets frozen, throwing the pending of the sale of the club into disarray. Number 2, the British property tycoon Nick Candy remains interested, but the bidders are preparing bids in excess of 2 billion. So in my video, you heard me say it was valued at 3 billion by Forbes, who does the evaluation for pretty much every sports team in the world. And I was saying that they're not going to get that for it because what's been going on now is devalued the worth of the team. And in terms of profits, people sell for profits. And, in a reasonable way, Abramovich has already been told that he won't see a penny from the sale of the club. So what all that does is that devalues the club on the stock exchange. It devalues the club as a potential sale asset. And I said we'll see between 1.5 billion to 2 billion in sale for the club. And so it doesn't surprise me that we're hearing talks of this going around. Number 3, shirt sponsors 3 suspended their 40 million deal with the club, while Nike is ending their agreements. That meeting actually is going to happen tomorrow with Nike, so we don't know what's going to happen there. But they're trying to get out. Yeah? They're trying to get out. Number 4, Blues Chiefs are in talks with the government to lessen the impact of the restrictions against the club. So for those of you who don't understand what that is, so when this normally happens to a club in terms of sanctions, they can't do anything. They can't use any of their money. They can't pay staff. They can't pay workers and things like that. So the reason why a lot of Chelsea staff has kept their job, and I said a lot, is because of this government agreement. There has, however, been a situation this week where staff members have been let go, but we'll talk about that later on. But however, the sanctions currently put in place means that they're still able to keep some staff members and that they're still allowed to use a section of money for away travel and things like that. So we've been told 20,000, yeah. So under normal circumstances, when a company is sanctioned like this, they're not allowed to do that. So the reason why we're talking about these restrictions is the government has allowed a level of cash flow to keep going, so that because otherwise the club just would be gone. Otherwise, the players wouldn't receive salaries, the staff, everything would be shut down, and the players would just be like, "I'm out of here, I'm leaving." Yeah,
The government basically are trying to distance themselves from destroying a football club, a big football club.
that's correct.
What they're
That's
trying to
correct.
do at this moment in time. If it was a team from the second division, the government would have said, "That's it, done. Forget it. Say goodbye. Go and kiss your mates goodbye, and then go
That's
home."
right.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys are seeing all these memes and jokes about Chelsea are going to be traveling on EasyJet because 20,000 to travel per game.
LVD bus.
Yeah, I think Arsenal's is about 32,000. So that kind of gives you guys a little bit of an understanding of how much it costs to actually send a group of players from one place to another, especially if you have to take a plane. So in other words, they're cash strapped. They're struggling right now. And the last point,
I don't get it.
And the last, well, I mean, it's they're trying to. They're going to be meeting with the government again, Tony, to try and relax those rules so they can do more. At the moment, the government are really tightening the screw on them.
Right now, if you got to look at their wage bill at the moment,
28 million a month.
They're not earning not even a quarter of that under the current restrictions. Plus, as I said, like with your fifth point about they can't renew any new contracts. So anyone whose contracts runs out, that's it. They're free to go. And they can't renew them, and they cannot sign any new players. So if this goes on till the beginning of next season.
The date we've been given is the end of June for this one now. End of June is going to be revisited.
Yeah, but it depends on what's happening with the war.
It does, but these restrictions are now in place until the end of June.
Till middle of June.
So the last one is Chelsea were told they cannot renew contracts or sign any new players, which means they're going to lose, from what we know, 6 or 7 players, which contracts, including some of the guys on loan. It's bad. It's bad. So we can really pick up on some of these points, guys.
What happens to Champions League? I'm sure that 20 grand's not going to stretch for an away game in Champions League.
That's why they're having a meeting to see if they can relax those rules.
Definitely not, man.
Yeah, that's why they're having a meeting because like I said,
or Eurostar,
you can see the jokes already, like people saying EasyJet and all of that stuff. That's just a piss take. Can't sit well. Yeah,
no, but that's serious though. That's serious. Think about it seriously. If you're going abroad, right, and you've got the whole team. Right, you've got to look at budget hotels. None of these 5-star hotels, budget hotels. You've got to look at budget flights because remember, 20 grand goes just like that.
It goes in a heartbeat. Like I said, Arsenal paid 32,000, right? So imagine if somebody said to Arsenal, "Oh, by the way, you can only spend 20 grand." So first of all, the private jet, that's gone.
Yeah.
That's
business class. Not even business class. Economy class. Yeah, economy class.
Wow.
Look at Tony's face.
I'm totally baffled, boys.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Yeah,
Tony,
how are they going to survive with the limits that the government have given them? They're going to struggle. They're struggling.
To be honest with you, I have not thought in depth about what you've just revealed, but it just sounds like a madness.
It is.
Yeah. Put it this way, if nothing happens, right, they won't be here come June. Because whatever money they
dry out.
But that will probably dry out by the end of this month. Yeah. When you look at the wages that they're paying per week, 28 million.
28 million a month. And remember, guys, players do not care about clubs' cash flow or health. They don't. I know for a certain fact because that's all the agents talk about. Agents don't care. Players don't care. We had a situation at Arsenal where Portsmouth were literally, they were shutting the gates on Portsmouth. They had already had 6 appearances in court, and Sol Campbell was still pushing for his money as a player, even though he knew that the liquidators were coming in for Portsmouth. He didn't care. He wanted these money. That's all they care about. They don't give a crap about what the club's going through.
Exactly.
And these players at Chelsea...
So, guys, does that not mean that a quick sell has to happen?
It does
has to happen, but we don't know if it will happen.
Yeah, it does, but that's on Abramovich. That's all on Abramovich. If a quick sell is, a quick sell is. You have to remember he's invested a lot of his money into this, and he wants to see some kind of return.
But he won't see any return.
No, he
That's
won't
what
see
I
any.
think. That's
He
what
won't
Yeah,
see
I'm
any
agreeing with
return.
he won't
Neil.
see any return,
I
and
can't
that's
see him
why.
getting a penny.
And that's why he's holding on, Tony. That's
Yeah.
why he's holding on.
And the longer he holds on, the
The
most likely
worse it's
that
going to get.
most likely they'll go into administration.
So
Yeah. And if
forgive
they
me
go
if
into
I'm.
administration, they get dock points and stuff like that if they
So
survive
guys,
it.
please help me out with this one. Did not Roman Abramovich do something legally with the asset of the club last week before the announcement?
No. You're talking about when he was handing it over to the charity to run. Yeah.
Yeah.
The charity turned around and
Stewardship.
said, "We're not sure if we can actually do that." He was trying a quick one. Yeah. To
Tell me
distance his name from the club. So if he gives
Yeah.
it
So
to a
he
charity and
see
lets
he
the
was
charity
trying to
fund
hand it over to the shareholders so they can put it in the stewardship's name,
Yeah.
which would take him, which would absolve him of any responsibility.
and then whatever happens is then the government couldn't come in and go, right, this is an asset that we're freezing. Yeah. And because it wasn't that sort of, it wasn't decided whether it's legal or not. By the time, they still haven't decided whether it's right or wrong because they were still looking into it. And while they're still looking into it, the government today are coming and go, shutting it down, man, shutting it down. Yeah, because he's an oligarch, isn't it? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're all getting punished now. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they will.
Can I also then extend this question out? It's not Usmanov also got the same ban.
They've all
Everton.
they're all they've all been listed by the government now. Yeah,
He's not a majority holder though.
No, he's not. But
Okay,
he's still having his assets frozen and that sort of stuff. They're not allowed to travel. They're not allowed to do business with any business in the UK or with any UK business either.
Yeah, because the latest we've been told today.
Is living in Israel at the moment, so travel's not an issue for the UK to worry about. But
the words that the latest update that came in today was the bank assets are now frozen. So
credit cards and all that's been frozen as well.
So even though they've been told they can't spend any money,
that can only be UK funds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's where their bank is.
These guys don't keep their money in the UK.
Not their money, Chelsea, not their money, Chelsea.
Even Chelsea's money.
No. You're assuming it's not. Remember, UK business, they can't hide their money in.
They can't hide their money. Everything is shown on.
It has to be in the country because of the tax. The tax man needs to see all that. They need to see the bank records and all that. All that sort of stuff. Yeah. So they've frozen all of that. All that's been frozen now. So they can't transact anything.
So G has asked, what's his choices, Apollo? So I'll put that up. I just typed it in. So what his choices is, it effectively leaves him with two options. Agree to the government's conditions and lose the club for nothing, which no rich man would do. No rich man would give away an asset like that for nothing, or let Chelsea slowly rot. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, but his character, what he said last week as well is that any proceeds of the sale of Chelsea is going to go in a fund that's going to go towards the people of Ukraine. Yeah.
Actually, he said that because the government gave him. But the government gave him the option to Neil. They put that option in there, so that's why he came out and said it like it was his idea. It wasn't. It was something that the government. It was one of the choices they said when he was like, "Well, what's going to happen to the money then?"
And the thing is, the government they're adamant that they have proof that he still has links with Putin, and he's had links with Putin all these years. Yeah, and part of the issue is that he owns he also has another company that makes steel, and that steel is making weapons for the Russian army.
That's the reason why. So I was going to come on to that because I've had Chelsea fans asking me, and if you guys go on my Facebook wall, you'll see a lot of comments there from Chelsea fans who just don't get it. And last night against Norwich, shouting Abramovich's name showed no class.
That's
showed
crazy.
No class whatsoever. So Chelsea, and I was hoping to get a Chelsea fan on this podcast, but
couldn't get one. Sorry,
we couldn't get one. And so realistically,
I kind of feel for Chelsea fans because
I tried to separate
politics and sport.
You can never do
I
that.
really
You can
do.
never do that. Yeah.
Well, you say that if you was to continually keep us aligning sport with politics, then be a whole bunch of people wouldn't be playing sport right now.
Bro, I
Because
can
they
go
live
back to
and
Jesse
they live and
James.
work
I could
in
go back to
war-torn countries. They
I could
follow
go back to
regimes. They
yeah.
you
I
know
could
what I
go
mean?
back to
Listen,
Muhammad Ali. I could. Politics and sports have always,
It's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. It's
been
always
there.
going to be there.
Yeah,
That's
but
Mesut
never.
Ozil and China.
My point is, sport takes itself out of the political eye.
No,
Because
but
even
sport.
you look at the Winter Games just went, yeah.
Yeah.
Russia was banned.
So
Were they?
here's
But
the
They
problem.
weren't
listen to what I'm
banned.
gonna say. Listen to
Go
what
on,
I'm
go
gonna
on.
say.
Right.
Yeah, go
Russia
on.
were banned, but they still had athletes in a different political heading.
Yeah, ROC. The
Yeah.
ROC. This
Yeah.
is what I
So-
don't get with that.
Here's the
saying
problem
there-
with that, guys. Here's the problem. When you're a sportsman, you are a brand. And when you are a brand, you are no longer yourself. You represent the people that follow you. And the problem with the words sports and politics is that when you are an exceptional athlete, you using your brand to fight for what your platform and your fans and your followers and all of that stands for is something which toes the line. So you all know Lewis Hamilton. He's created a charity called We Drive as One, and it's implemented a whole heap of people of color into the sport, and it's just changed the platform as a whole. A lot of other
It hasn't really.
It has because I know 3 black guys who work for F1 teams. Yeah, one of them's my cousin Mark. Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole point is the sport didn't want any of that. They like it just the way it is,
right?
With all those faces that they used to seeing, and so when you start to ruffle a few feathers, it irks people the wrong way.
So this is my point, Apollo. The point you're making has no credence because all I have to do is turn around and say to you, look at the NFL and tell me how many black managers there are.
Well, I can tell you how many black players like Colin Kaepernick there are, and there's quite a few of them.
The league is made up of over 80% black players.
And your coach, Brian Flores, who we said would never get another job, got hired last week.
Yeah, so the head coach he's not a head coach though.
And I know, but he got hired. We
but
didn't even think
coach.
If we're
he's
got a job.
If we're gonna go into positional coaches, Apollo, you know there are tons of black positional coaches. There's only one black head coach. You and I know that. Mike Tomlin. He's the only one. Yeah. And this is in years after the Rooney Rule was created. So all this stuff about politics and strategy and stuff like that, I just don't buy into it.
I know you don't, but you know, I've got a T-shirt of Tommy Smith putting his fist up in the Olympics.
Same shirt upstairs, my friend. I've got the same shirt, 1966.
And that will always guide me when it comes to politics and sports.
The point is, if you're gonna keep going on about politics and sport, there's more than Russia that would be excluded from sport.
The thing with Russia, what you got to remember is it wasn't about Russia; it was about drugs.
Yeah, I think what we're doing here is that's
why Russia was banned. That's why they were banned from the Olympics because of the doping. Yeah. Right. But what they did is they allowed the same athletes to compete. Yeah. And what was was it the 15-year-old figure skater who was expecting to win gold? Yeah. She was still done for doping. Yeah. Under ROC. Yeah. My point was, if you ban a country, ban those athletes. Full stop. Don't allow them to come in under another iteration. Of your
that's
country.
my point, Neil.
Yeah.
Basically, it seems like when it suits sport, we can turn the other cheek.
Yes.
Yeah. And on this occasion, we're not willing to turn the other cheek because I'm sorry, I just don't feel comfortable. I mean, I'm no great Chelsea fan, but at the end of the day, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not saying that that Chelsea fans should be singing Roman Abramovich's name.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, somehow this doesn't feel comfortable to me, because
Yeah, but Cox,
all of a sudden, hang on,
go on.
all
Yeah,
of
go
a
on.
sudden, the world, according to Western media, is making out like Russia is the aggressor. Yeah? And everybody has to fall into this. Oh, because the Western media says Russia is the aggressor and that everybody else must fall into line. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but no one said that when America
No.
was bombing the hell out of Libya and turned around and said, "Oh,
Exactly.
let's ban America."
No, but you got to look at it this way. The thing with
Why?
Russia, what you got to look at with Russia, right? I'm not condoning what Russia have done, right? I think what they've done is wrong. But the bottom line is, right?
Do you know why they've done it, Neil?
The real bad guys is NATO.
No,
Yeah,
it's not. It's not NATO.
No,
Yeah.
it's NATO. It's NATO.
No.
It's
Yeah.
no. You got to look at it. You got to look at what they've done.
I know why they've done it, Neil. I know why they've done it.
Because they don't want NATO with their
on the
missiles
doorstep.
pointed
Yeah.
near their border.
Yeah,
right?
but that doesn't.
Every country
But
near
that's
them-
not NATO that's implemented that. Yeah.
No, listen,
It's not NATO that's implemented that. There's one country that's implemented that whole thing. That's responsible for it. That actually made the agreement in the first place. NATO as a collective spawned from those presidents that created it. And
Yeah.
They facilitate it.
Sorry?
They facilitate it. They're culpable. I know what you're saying, Apollo.
Do you
but
understand
they
what I'm saying? Because in
facilitate
order to understand the whole platform, you need to understand why Russia are doing what they're doing. And not a lot of people know
Russia
that.
are doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're
not a lot of
protecting
people know
themselves.
that.
They're
They're protecting themselves.
They're
Yeah?
protecting
It doesn't
themselves.
justify what they're doing, but the reason
No.
they're doing it, which the Western world, Sky, CNN, BBC, none of them are talking about something called the WhatsApp agreement. Yeah,
Yeah, that was in
that was
what year
Russia's
was that?
version of NATO.
Yeah.
Right. So this agreement was that the West would get rid of NATO and Russia will get rid of WhatsApp. What happened is Russia got rid of the WhatsApp agreement and the West didn't get rid of NATO. Didn't they just get rid of it? And this was down to the American president.
They're expanding by getting countries to join.
They expand, right. So that's why this is happening for anybody out there who's listening who didn't understand why it was going on.
Exactly.
So the fault of that is it holds America accountable because they were the ones that pursued the whole expansion. So we can talk about NATO as much as we like, but this has basically come from not applying to a gentleman's agreement, which was between the Russia and the USA.
Exactly.
So and what it does is it drags all of us down with it, which is why our news medias are not talking about it.
Right. And also, sorry, so to take this back to the Chelsea bit, yeah, the reason why the government are doing what they're doing now to Chelsea and Abramovich is because they're trying to distance themselves. Because remember, when he came over into this country, 20 odd years ago, he brought a lot of money and a lot of investments, and the government took that money, put it a lot of it in their pocket, right? That's what they do. So that's why they're now saying, look, we've got to distance ourselves from Abramovich and what's going on in Russia, right? We've got to look like we're the good guys now, but it's too late. They've already eaten the steak.
Yeah,
you know, they've already.
I think the point that we need to understand, Neil and Tony, is we have seen reactions from Chelsea fans this week, which we can condone. The reactions are based of, and I don't want this to sound offensive to
based
any.
on ignorance.
It's based on ignorance. I don't want any Chelsea fan out there who's watching this podcast to feel like I'm having a go at them. I'm just trying to explain as a generalization. It might not be towards you, and if it's not, well, well done and great and all the power to you. But I'm talking about what we've seen, and two instances I can bring up: the racism in Paris in the Tube, which was a minority, and the shouting of Roman Abramovich last night against Norwich, which was a majority. So these two different things highlight the difference in fans don't understand what they're cheering for. The fact that they're cheering this guy's name, and the fact that he's building and using all of his money to create this steel, to create tanks and everything that are out there killing people, that's wrong. You cannot support that. And that's the reason why all of this chanting for the owner is done out of disrespectful taste for the people in Ukraine who are dying right now.
Yeah, but
now, it was okay. Yeah, and it's because Chelsea fans feel hurt. Yeah,
And selfish. It's selfish as well.
it
They're selfish
is.
as well.
It is.
That's what you've got to look at, because the bottom line is, right, they're thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about the
Yeah,
people.
they're burying their heads in the sand.
Exactly. That's what they're doing. So they're thinking about it and they think, oh, well,
Would you
this
not
guy's
have? I'm
great
sorry,
and good
guys,
stuff.
but there's a lot of teams that bury their heads in the sand.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
don't. We call our owners out for
You're a liar.
everything.
You're a
Right?
liar. because
We call
I'll
our
tell you
owners
why-
out for
I'll tell you why
everything.
You're a liar, Apollo, because
Yeah.
you yourself don't carry. What is it? Visit Rwanda. Why don't you do that, Apollo? Explain to us why you don't do that.
Right, so for all you guys who watch the channel, you know I don't support Rwanda because Rwanda received 30 million in cash from the UK to help with poverty, medicine, and things like that. Rwanda have used 10 million of that money to give to Arsenal for sponsorship when it should be used against for their people.
I rest my case.
Right,
I rest my case.
So I don't support that.
So I rest my case. Your team involved in shady business. We're going to turn a blind eye and we're going to visit Rwanda. And all of a sudden, somebody else is now involved in shady business. It's bigger shady business. But now we're going to focus our attention. But my club, I'm going to turn a blind eye.
So Tony, hear this.
That happens all the time in sport. And this ain't the first time. I can give you countless examples.
All right, so let me answer you, Tony. So let me answer you.
Hang on. I ain't done yet.
I know, but I just want to answer. I just want to cover you what you just said.
Britain hangs its head in shame in being a partner to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia bombs Yemen regularly, and they don't say jack shit about it. And everybody.
So Tony, right? So first of all, you said we don't say anything about it and turn a blind eye. I did not say keep myself quiet about Rwanda, and I certainly did not turn a blind eye. You know that. So for calling me a liar, I stood up and I called up. Hold on. I stood up and I was the only fan. You can check Arsenal Fan TV. You can check any Arsenal YouTuber or anyone in the media. None of them did what I did. Yeah, none of them took a stand and called out Arsenal. I did.
You and me. Because on my Arsenal top, I also don't have the Visit Rwanda sign. I covered mine up with a Black Lives Matter patch. Yeah? So you and I are the only ones that turned and said, we ain't supporting that.
Yeah. And even when you told Arsenal fans what it was, they still didn't care. It was just like them guys from Goon Squad, I had this conversation with them.
Thank you.
They don't care. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that is basically
it's ignorance. It's ignorance. My company's been there. My company's been there for 16 years.
Because his bullshit is bad, but you're gonna miss your own bullshit.
Yeah.
And as I said, plenty other teams have got this bullshit going on.
Yeah,
they're gonna turn a blind eye.
Yeah, but gents, you have to remember that's politics, and politics does go in sports. As much as we say it shouldn't be, it's there. Whether we
what Tony's saying is, and I bring this back to Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans welcomed Abramovich's money because it was a game changer. Yeah. They bathed in it. They washed themselves every day in his money. They became accustomed to it because they grew to a level that they've never been accustomed to before. They rode the wave, until it all turned to shit.
Yeah, but Apollo, what you got to look at, that's what's called loyalty, right? No disrespect, but that's what's called loyalty. The man's come in, he's brought their club up, and he's turned them into winners. His money's turned them into winners. The fans, what you got to remember is a lot of fans are very small-minded. They only see what's directly in front of them, and they don't have peripheral vision. They just focus on the one point, and that's the point they will ever see. They won't see anything else. They don't care They don't care whether the money that was coming in was dirty money or not. They don't care whether people bled for money or not, right?
Sorry, guys, can I just cut you for a second? Just go to these guys because they're dying to get their saying at the moment. Andrew says Abramovich was in line to obtain a British citizenship. Bertrand says English press are beyond hypocritical. Exactly. And he says, how is Newcastle any different? Agreed.
That was where I was going.
100%, Bertrand.
Exactly where I was going next.
100%. Everybody involved is in shady business. It's about degrees.
But you got to but you got to remember, gents. You got to remember, right? The only thing that talks in this since the Premier League is money. Yeah. Everybody will turn a blind eye, and when I say everybody, you're talking about the government. Yeah, because they know where this money's coming in. As long as something's going in their back pocket, they'll turn their blind eye. Yeah.
So did you guys read all that traffic that's going on my Facebook wall? Right. So I also made a comment there that who knows if the government does sell Chelsea, whether they will even give the money to the Ukraine charity, because we've seen this happen before. This is like your local police station tampering with evidence, drugs, money, all that shit that they confiscate from all these raids. Yeah, where do we really think this money's going?
When you talk about that, it depends, right? It depends on whether the actual proceeds is actually made accurate and public. If it's made public, then yes, they will. Yeah, but we know that the figure that is probably sold for and the figure that they actually put in their pockets is there's gonna be some sort of cap on it somewhere. Yeah. What they'll say is the tax man needs to get some of that. Yeah. And we know it's not really going to the taxman, it's going into their bottom pockets. So it just depends on whether they're going to be upfront with us or not. And we know the government are never upfront unless, even when their hands are caught in the cookie jar.
They'll still try to exactly. When Boris was running for prime minister, I was telling everybody that 40% of his donations was coming to Russians. They didn't care. All they cared about was Brexit. I was like, really? You don't want to know where this guy's money's coming from? I can't be any more plainer than that. I was posting. You can ask Tony. Every day I was posting all that shit. These voters didn't care whatsoever.
No, they don't. No. But the thing is, what you got to look at with Brexit.
Most of your friends aren't conservative supporters, Apollo. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bertram says, Apollo, many Arsenal fans. I didn't want Uzunov, by the way. I just want to go on record and say that I didn't want him, because all of that stuff that was going on with. All of the pensioners being sold deals that he had taken and all that stuff. All of them would do it. What's his name? Frank Sinatra from Man City, they were chasing for jail and all of that. All of these guys, they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar so many times. I wasn't a fan of Usmanov, but Arsenal fans, this because they were so desperate for success. So I hear what you're saying. He goes, let's not be hypocritical. Fans just want to win. If you lie down with the devil, yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I would have to say that over 90% of Arsenal fans probably wanted Usmanov.
Yeah.
It's just like when you're talking about being crooked and that, right? What was the American tycoon who invested a lot of money into cricket and then got caught? He did
Harry
that.
Packer.
Not Packer. There was a competition and he paid the winners would get like £1 million each of the team in the team. Oh, what was his name?
I can't remember.
But basically, he got caught by the American government, and the man's in prison. He's serving life imprisonment. That's what should happen to these guys. That's what should happen.
That's what's happening to Fenouatra. Look, I don't know what's going to happen here. All I know is that this is a situation where it is, guys. Abramovich has to let go all of his fortune, and which he doesn't want to do, or Chelsea is going to sit there and rot itself into oblivion. And I'm talking.
I would say the thing with Abramovich, right? He's screwed over here in Europe. Well, even if he goes to, he's in Israel at the moment. Even if he goes to Russia, he's always going to be sorted out. So he's losing a lot of money, but will it make that much of a difference to him? Not really, because he's still going to be living his comfortable life until he dies.
For sure.
Yeah,
100%.
You know?
Yeah, look, it is what it is. It's a very delicate subject for some of you guys out there. I understand that for those people who are watching this, you might not be in favor of some of the opinions here, but we're only telling you the truth. There's a lot of knowledge on this podcast right now.
One more controversial thing, right? And this is to do with Ukraine. We hear about the atrocities that are happening to them, but the one thing I've noticed that nobody's talking about are the orphanages. Yeah, you've got a lot of mixed race kids in these orphanages.
Yeah,
talking about them. You're also talking about the students have gone from Nigeria and is it Ghana as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're being refused to get out. Yeah, nobody's talking about that. It's not being covered in the media, right?
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to make you feel sorry for people feel sorry for the white person, right? That when they were comparing it to, was it Syria? And they're comparing these people's lives to what's happening in Syria. I'm thinking, You can't be comparing it to war is war.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're trying to make because somebody mentioned about it shouldn't be happening to these people in Europe because they're blonde and whatever. I'm thinking, hold on. So because they're white, it shouldn't be happening to them, but it should be happening to people in Syria or in other darker parts of the world.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's wrong. To me, that's all wrong. Yeah, that's all wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
But then it's up to people like us to make sure that we educate our own. Yeah, because the media aren't going to be educating us.
That's
for
right.
our own.
That's right.
We have to speak about it and we have to push it out there. Yeah, and get our people to understand. Yeah, and I'm not talking about like that because black lives always matter. All lives matter in my view. But the bottom line is we need to make, if we don't do it. We can't sit back and complain because they're not doing it. We know they're not going to do it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's down to us to make that change.
Anyway, let's move on. We've gone way over our time. Do you want to put up this weekend's fixtures? Do you want to finish off on that real quick?
Okay, I'm gonna have to go and run after them again. Hold on, let's see if we can.
Yeah, we kind of made this one really deep, didn't we?
Yeah, this would have been bigger if we had Dave on there.
You know, people in politics, people like to just disappear, innit?
I think we're going to have part 2 next at some point. I know Dave is keen to come on and have a chat about it. But yeah, I think we've all come with really good facts. You know, respectfully, I think, you know, there's a lot of information that the three of us have exposed that, you know, people need to be aware of. You know, you guys have told me about stuff I didn't know. So thank you guys very much for that.
Yeah. It's all about education. We have to continually educate one another. Yeah. We've got to keep up. We've got to put ourselves on the same level as everybody else because we're not looked at as we're on that level. So we have to elevate ourselves. We have to educate ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah, it's Kez. It says evening, great show. Thank you, Kez. It's just a shame we didn't get a couple of other guys in there. Would have really liked to heard a lot more from Bertrand and Nabil as well. Nabil's just come back from Carolina as well, so I would have liked to hear a lot about from him. It says deep and honest, Neil. We need to be ready to have these conversations. Yeah, and that is the bottom line of it, really. That is the crux of it. You know, there's a way to talk and discuss, and a lot of people, a lot of platforms don't really have the necessary people who can do that. And I like what we have here, man. I like that we can discuss it as gentlemen and get that insight from each other. Let me just see if I can bring this thing up because I've been fighting with it for the last few minutes. Oh, there we go. All right, there you go, Tony.
There we go. Yeah, so big games this weekend. Brighton at home to Liverpool. I think we can all.
I forgot about Man United Tottenham.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this up because I know there are a couple of juicy games in there this weekend. Brentford at Burnley. I kind of got a feeling that's gonna be that could be a draw. But I'm gonna go for a Burnley away win. But Man United against. So I was
going to say, I agree. Burnley are in the position where they have to win now. Yeah. So they're going to be going out there and pulling out all the stops. So I have a feeling that because Brentford are still kind of safe. So I think Burnley will do more. Burnley will do more in that game.
So let's get into this Man United Tottenham book game. What do we think, guys?
Do you know you guys know my thoughts. It has to be a draw. This is a battle for 4th place, and we need to nullify both teams.
Yeah, but what you got to look at, right? It depends because when you look at both clubs, right?
Yeah,
there are 2 sides to them. It depends on which side turns up.
Well, United are at home, which doesn't actually mean anything for these days.
Sometimes you get a good United, and sometimes you get a terrible United. Which United is going to turn up? And it's the same with Tottenham as well. Sometimes you get a good Tottenham, and sometimes you get a bad Tottenham. Which side turn up?
I agree with Bertram. I keep saying to Arsenal fans that at some point we're gonna get ours, and that's why these next 3 games are crucial for Arsenal. Liverpool at home and Villa away are 2 games that could be an easy loss.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm going for United 1-0 or 1-1. It has to be United win or a draw. Tottenham cannot win. because Tottenham, Arsenal are in such a good place that we could lose. Listen, Neil, listen, Arsenal are in such a good place that we could lose 2 games and still be in 4th on goal difference.
Yeah, but
via
Apollo,
Tottenham.
Apollo, that's an emotional decision.
What, to lose 2 games? No, I'm just telling you the cushion that we've got, bro.
No, I'm talking about the United Tottenham. You're talking from an emotional point of view because you want your team to come in 4th.
Yeah,
right? That's why you're saying it.
Okay.
And I get that.
So let me give you my opinion, Neil. This is how it should be.
Go for it.
I want Man United to smash Tottenham. I never want Tottenham to win. Ever.
Yes, because that's an emotional decision as well. We know that, right?
But, hey, bro, Man United are your enemies too, you know.
I know. I don't want them to win either.
But I gotta go. If form is anything, then Tottenham will smash Man United.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. As much as I want United to lose, I'm looking at form, and yeah, I think Tottenham. Look, especially after their last game against Everton, if they play that well, United aren't going to be able to contain Harry Kane and Son. Definitely.
Yeah, Bertrand says our games in hand include Tottenham and Chelsea. I said this in a video that I did in midweek. It doesn't matter what our games in hand are because I said to everybody, all these teams, guess what, have to play each other. So it doesn't really matter what we do. As long as we hold our runs, we can afford to drop a few games. It doesn't really matter who our games in hand are because those teams still have to play each other. They can't all take the 3 points, Bertrand. You know, I think some Arsenal, we forget that as Arsenal fans, we're looking at what it looks like from our view, you know, from our window. But the reality is you are going to get games like Tottenham versus Man United, and they can't both have 3 points. And that is only going to work in our favor. And so for me, look, you know, we have the games in hand and we have the points.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on, guys. Chelsea, Newcastle, another big game.
Newcastle 1-0 to me.
At Chelsea?
Yeah, Newcastle's going to win.
No, you know, Chelsea do it. Chelsea, obviously with what's going on, they've got a point to prove. They proved it against Norwich, even though they were playing Norwich. They'll do the same against Newcastle. I think that'll be 2-0 or 2-1 to Chelsea. As much as I hate saying it, I think Chelsea will do it.
I agree with you. I think player for player, I look at them at their current form. Chelsea win this one comfortably.
Yeah, they're too strong.
When was the last time that Newcastle lost, Tony?
12th of December in the Premier League. They lost in the FA Cup in January, but they haven't lost in the Premier League since the 12th of December.
Right.
Yeah. Kez is saying Man United versus Tottenham, a draw is the best. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I would take a draw. If not, Man United win. Because Man United's played too many games. So
they're way too many games. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Leeds, Norwich, uninterested. Everton, Wolves, uninterested. Southampton, Watford, West Ham, Villa looks like that could be a good game.
That'd be a juicy game. That'd be a juicy game.
That's gonna be nice.
That's another top 4 team. Well, potential top 4 team. West Ham, I think they'll take Villa on that one. They've got more to lose. West Ham have more to lose.
What do you think, Apollo?
West Ham have been the unsung villains. I can't call them unsung heroes. But West Ham, out of that race for top 4, they're the ones that has not been getting it done.
One of the few teams to beat Liverpool this season.
Yeah, but they've not been getting it done. And games like this, if you can't win at home against Aston Villa in this game, then you're out of the top 4 race as far as I'm concerned.
That's what I think they'll do.
Yeah, me too.
Right now, they've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, me too. Because they're saying Villa win, injuries, and Thursday in European game. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough one. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But I want West Ham to do. I've got a lot of West Ham fans, and I like West Ham, man. I think West Ham are a good team, and they're punching above their weight. But for me, I think they're going to struggle even to get Europa League.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Arsenal, Leicester. I think we both know what Apollo and I are going to choose. Plus, Leicester played yesterday in the Europa, so maybe some tired legs. We should put them to the sword on Saturday.
No Vardy.
No Vardy. So Vardy. So to be honest, I reckon that you guys will do them 2-1, 2-0 or 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, no Vardy, and that place at the Emirates is a fortress.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football sees Man City away to Crystal Palace, which looks like a formality, but Man City be making teams look good of late.
Well,
Yeah, but
Crystal
you see-
Palace ain't one of them teams that you want to mess around with.
Yeah,
I can promise you that.
They're not. They're not.
This
But
could be a banana skin for them.
yeah, but
Yeah.
think about it. Yeah, think about it. At the moment, City are 6 points ahead of Liverpool in second place, right?
With the
What
game,
they don't want to do,
Liverpool got a game in hand.
forget the game in hand. It's about the actual points, right? What you
Mhm.
got to look at is City cannot drop any points until they meet Liverpool.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
This is a-
can't see them playing bad enough to lose to Palace. As much as I want them to lose, I can't see it happening.
I mean,
They're
you
just-
look at their Champions League game in midweek, which they drew 0-0. They were
No, come on, man.
pointless.
Look, no,
yeah,
but we
Kez, it says that we're playing Sunday here.
yeah, but
Yeah,
It
we
says
are.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they took their feet off the pedal in that second game. City took the feet off the pedal. They were 5-0 up. Yeah, even if they lost 3-0, they were still going through. So they just took they took their feet off the pedal. They were making sure they weren't going to get any injuries during the game. Yeah, and they succeeded with that. Yeah.
Mm.
Now it's business as usual in the league to win the Premiership, and that's what their priority is.
I just go back a couple of weeks where they just about sneaked a 1-0 win.
Look,
I know. Look,
listen,
my opinion is Crystal Palace.
want them to lose.
I'm looking at all the teams on this list, and Crystal Palace, in my opinion, are the most underrated Premier League team on the grid. They are just not the team that anybody would want to play at any given time because they have so much talent. They're so well coached, and they're going to get better and better and better.
They used to be our Achilles heel, yeah, because that's a couple of seasons where we looked as if we were good enough to come in the top four and whatever. We come against Crystal Palace, and then we just lose it after that.
Yeah, we've not had great results against them of late. They are a very good.
But we're talking about City. The City's second team is still stronger than Palace's first team. Yeah. As much as I want City to lose, I just can't sit against Palace. If they were going against Chelsea or going against Arsenal or Spurs, I'd say they can potentially drop points because
the thing is, Man City haven't been in good form for a while, man.
No, but they're still getting the 3 points though.
Oh yeah. Ever since the game at the Emirates in January, when we played them off the park, since then, it's almost like they haven't got their mojo back. But I guess that's what makes championship teams.
Look, when United were dominating and winning the Premiership, right? A lot of those games when they were winning were crap. They were playing terrible. Yeah, they were scraping by with 1-0 and whatever. The thing was, they were still getting the 3 points, no matter how bad they played. There's plenty of games that we can turn around and go, well, they didn't deserve that. Yeah, how did they get away with that? But they did, and that's what City are reminding me of at this moment in time. Yeah, teams that they should be blown away. All right, they're not blowing them away, but they're still getting the 3 points.
Yeah.
And that.
So that's go on, Tony. I'll let you give us an outro here. I didn't realize we were going on for so long.
Thank you so much. I mean, look, we've hit. I told you it was going to be a mammoth show because this has just been a mad week in football. I mean, it's been some great highlights and some low lowlights. But it's been amazing. Thank you, gentlemen, for this protracted conversation. I think we got a lot out there. I think part 2 next week could be even hotter.
Yeah.
Gents, just a quick one. We didn't talk this much in school.
Speak for yourself, man.
No, but we didn't. The three of us, we didn't talk this much in school. It's like we're making up now. Today, we definitely made up, yeah?
It's true.
Oh, man. All right, guys. The only person that's missing here is Clyde Gordon.
Yeah, exactly. Fog on.
Oh, man.
But thanks a lot, guys. Have a great weekend.
Cool.
And we'll be in touch.
Excellent. All right, speak to you guys later. Have a great weekend, everybody. Nice one, man.